What's happening, guys, and welcome back to Commotion Podcast. Listen, I am so sorry last week didn't happen. Travis and Jordan, they're part of Space Force, and I guess you kind of know what's going on. So we'll try to get them back in March at some point. But listen, this week we have got Derek Nowlin, fellow podcaster with Steak and Sauce Podcast, a comedian and a veteran. We are sure to have an absolute blast. But before we do, I have to give a shout out to Brad with Sport Around Trophies and Awards here in Reiner, Virginia. He hooks up all the podcast guests with custom tumblers, say Commotion Podcasts on them. He also does a lot of awards, trophies, plaques, you name it, he does it. Give him a shout. His name is Brad. Let me get my cheat sheet here. 540-613-1892, or you can look him up on all the social media platforms. Take your hats off. It is time to rock.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Derek Nowlin.
What's going on, man?
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, brother. Thanks for having me.
It's so good to see you, man. Thanks for gracing us, bro.
Yeah.
I've been a fan. I've seen some of your stuff come through that you're a stand-up comedian, and I was like, okay, that sparked my interest because I've got delusions that I'm funny. And then I saw, hey man, he's got a podcast, and I started checking out some of your stuff, but never once did I think you'd show up with a pink drink.
Right. Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you drinking on,
you
man?
know what? That's crazy because I just helped my buddy move in a new dryer to his house.
Okay.
His girlfriend comes home with like a tray of drinks.
Nice.
I was thirsty.
All right.
She's like, take any one you want. So I was like, let me be funny.
Yeah.
Big dude with this little girly drink right here. So I grabbed
Show
that
him, get it.
Yeah,
We got to see what it is. What is it, man?
Let me see
What are you
here.
sipping on today?
This is a GR pink drink with light ice. I don't even know. It's got some coconut milk.
Ooh.
Strawberries.
That sounds nice.
And a little ice in there. So shout out to
Cheers,
you know who.
my friend.
Yeah, cheers. It's actually quite tasty too. Let me get a
What's
little.
it taste like? Honest review.
Actually, not. It's not that
It's
good.
not that good.
Not
Well,
that good.
I'm sorry,
We'll
my
put
friend.
that down. Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming in, man.
Yeah, man.
So the way that this came about is I talked to Robbie Hockett, right?
Shout out to Robbie.
Yeah, what's
awesome
up,
guy.
man? Appreciate the hookup. He's got a couple other guys. He said, man, they'd be a great fit for the podcast. But he said, I think you might be kin to Derek. I was like, I don't think so.
Hey,
I mean, we look a lot alike.
well, yeah, we don't know that.
But you never know. We're all kin if you
Right.
believe.
We're all kin, right?
But yeah, he told me that, and I was like, I don't know that you've got the right folks lined up here. We might be. Do you know something I don't know?
You know what? It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
I've seen some websites where we can fill out some stuff, send it off. We'll get
Saliva.
it back. Yeah. We'll figure it out quick. Yeah.
Hey, man, I feel like we're family already, buddy.
Yes, sir.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, man? Where are you from? What are you into now?
Yes. So I'm originally from here, from Christiansburg, Virginia, and graduated in 2004.
Okay.
Shortly after I graduated, I enlisted into the Army on active duty.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And went off to basic at Fort Knox, Kentucky. I don't even think they have basic training there anymore.
Okay.
I think they might have shut it down.
Gotcha.
After that, went to Fort Lawson Woods, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri
All right.
for AIT. First duty station was Fort Hood, Texas.
Been there.
Yep. So I got there, right? My eyes were this big. Never seen
I'm
nothing
sure.
like that, right?
Yeah, man.
And 6 months after getting to my first unit, Charlie Company 62nd Engineer Battalion,
Yep.
we deployed to Iraq.
Okay.
So first tours in Iraq, came back home, was stateside for about 16 months. We got orders for Afghanistan.
Okay.
So my second tour was 15 months in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Night and day difference. If you talk to anybody that's been to both places, completely different rules of engagement,
Sure.
different way of tactics that you're using. It's just night and day.
So, from what I've heard,
Yeah.
Iraq was like, let's get in this and make a point.
Right.
Afghanistan's like, okay, we got to be a little more careful.
We got to be a little bit more careful. We were over there to initially train the Afghan National Army
Okay.
and the Afghan National Police on how to conduct their missions without our presence, because we knew at that point we were going to pull out at some point.
Yeah.
And we wanted them to have, you know, the right directives, the right way to do things. So they were alongside of us as we did all of our missions. A lot of those guys, I would have them right beside me to this day.
Good. Yeah.
They
I was going to ask, how were you guys from the start of your mission, and kind of the I guess you would consider it the war.
Right.
How were you perceived, and did perception get better or did it get worse?
I think when we initially got boots on ground,
Yeah.
I think there had been a few rotations of other units that were there that did a very good job of building rapport with the people around.
That makes sense.
Because we knew if you don't build good rapport, they're not going to help you.
Yeah, they're not going to talk.
They're not going to talk. They're not going to tell you there's a large IED 2 miles up the road.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you that they saw 30 fighters hunker into this village and they're just waiting on us to go to the next place.
And that is so vital, right?
Yes, vital information.
Yeah. I mean, these are the things that, yeah, sure, you know, you got eyes in the sky and you got a lot of intel coming in, but that, you know, person that knows people that are in there, you know, it's like, hey, my cousin's over here. He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And most of those guys, they have a strong will to better their country. They don't want it to be like that forever.
Yeah.
They don't mind us being there because they really feel that we were helping. We not only made the roads and stuff, the route safer, but we put, you know, electricity in schools. We put wells in. We would hand out food. We would set up aid stations.
Yeah. So would you consider there towards the end more of a humanitarian effort?
I would say we still had a very, very fast-paced mission drive. I think that we were still at a high tempo, but we knew that we needed to make sure that we built a good relationship with these people to let them know we're not just here to get into the fight. We're also here, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
What are some issues that you guys are having? And once we built those relationships, they would come to us.
Yeah.
And they'd say, hey, we don't want these guys around here. So whatever you need me to do, I'm willing to do it. And that's putting their neck on the line.
Sure.
You know.
A lot more than snitching here.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Over there, it's completely different.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you're going to lose a leg. You lose your life.
Lose anything.
Yeah.
Family. And I honestly would say that in Afghanistan, and for all the women and men have been over there, we thank you. It is so different. It's hard to really digest. It's the most beautiful place you've ever seen in some places, and the most dangerous all at the same time. So it's really hard to really fathom, you know, that area.
Yeah.
You know,
we did a lot of Air Force entertainment stuff as well as USO tours, and I'm very familiar. And you know, we were at a stop through. No, we did a show in Djibouti.
Wow.
And that place, man. You talk about poverty on a level you have never seen.
Right. And
it is insane.
I'm sure they were happy with like, we would usually hand out pens. Yeah. Pencils. Yeah. To us, that's, hey, I need to find one. Yeah. To them, if you gave one of those young kids a pen, $1 to them, I don't know what the conversion rate was now.
Oh, I can imagine.
$5 U.S. currency could feed a family for over a month.
Isn't it wild?
It's wild.
It's crazy.
You know, and it's crazy because the comforts that we have here, we get used to it. When you're overseas, of course, I'm sure traveling and stuff, you do without. You do what you have to do.
Nothing like you did.
Right.
But yes.
Those people were still walking behind a large cow with a plow, putting in their crops, no electricity in the home. Yeah. The children were born inside the home.
A century behind.
Yes, completely.
Yeah. And that's what I saw a lot. You know, I would see these places and I'd see the amenities, you know, and I'd see people defecating on the side of the road and going, I'm like, man, this is like literally a century behind.
Right.
75 years, you know.
Right.
Or more. You know, they're still in these huts and, you know, bare amenities, no running water, and you're like, man.
Yep. And they're making it. And the crazy thing was, to me, I still saw smiles on people's
That's what I was going to say. They're still happy.
Happy.
How can they find happiness?
Right.
But some of us spoiled people can't. You know, it's perspective.
It is perspective, because I remember being overseas, and I've been everywhere from a small tent that we had to put our gear on top of our cot because it would flood every time it rained.
Oh, man.
We were right next to a daggone huge burn pit, right? So I've been there all the way up to when we were at Bagram. And everybody knows Bagram. That's Disneyland.
Yep.
to where we had shower trailers, plumbing, heat and air. So I saw everything in between. You know?
I think Bagram was where I got some knockoff beats by Dre.
Definitely.
If I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, from one of those shops.
Yeah, dude. So after Afghanistan, you did 15 months.
15 months.
On your second.
Came home after the second tour. I reclassed my job. I went out to Fort Huachuca, Arizona, to the intel side.
Okay.
Spent some time out there, trained, gained a new job out there, a new MOS, I should say. Let me use the right terminology.
Sure.
So then I came back to my unit, and I initially had orders to go to Korea. And I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. So
Are we sure about this?
Yeah, we sure about this. So I called my branch manager.
Yeah.
Said, hey, Sergeant so-and-so, I've done a couple tours. Can y'all help me out? They said, well, we can keep you at Fort Hood. You'll just go to West Fort Hood.
Okay.
To the intel side.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll do that, you know. So I got to my unit at West Fort Hood, and as soon as I got there, they were like, hey, do we have any sergeants or staff sergeants that have been to Afghanistan? So I'm like, me and this other guy raised our hand. They said, good, because we're going to be leaning on you guys because we're going back.
Oh.
My stomach dropped. I was like, no way.
Hold on, I moved to intel.
Yeah. I was like, what?
I'm not doing that.
I'm supposed to be in a war room with drones and stuff. No.
No.
As soon as I got there, they let us know. And I was like, as a man, I had a real gut check moment.
Yeah.
Can I do another tour? And I'm not trying to sound funny.
Yeah.
There's plenty of guys I know that have done 5 or 6, but I think it's an individual thing.
Sure.
Right? What is your capacity?
Yep.
So they sent me to an additional school called Source Operations Course. And you go back to Fort Huachuca, then you go down to Tucson to Air Force Base for the final part of it. So I got that training done, graduated, came back, we deployed. I really felt that third tour was going to be it for me. You know? Because, I mean, think about it.
Oh, man.
If there's a pit bull across the street from your house and it's tied up on a chain, and every day you walk outside of your mailbox, it's bucking on that chain and that link's getting a little weaker. It's only a matter of time before that thing gets off the chain.
Yep. That's your ass, Mr.
And that's it. That's your ass. I told you. Right?
Yep.
So that was the way that I felt about it. I said, I am rolling the dice no more than anybody else. I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but me personally, I said, I don't know how this is going to end up for me.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, I have another year that I got to make it.
Yeah.
So I can get home.
Yeah.
And that tour, not to go into it too much, we saw a lot of stuff that really bothered me. And my buddy, shout out to Staff Sergeant Han. I don't know where he's at right now, but he's out there. And he would always joke with me. He said, hey, man, he said, it's your third tour? He's like, bro, you're done. He was like, you know, I mean, this sick personality that he had, you know.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
we go on a mission. He'd be like, hey, man, I heard last week IED in the road, flipped a couple cars. He's like, we're going right back to it.
Oh, man.
You know, he was like, you're done.
Just
you
messing
know?
with
Just
you.
messing with me every time. You know, I'm like, dude, shut up. Shout out to him, by the way.
Yes,
but
sir.
that was his sense of humor to get through.
Yep.
So right after we got back home, thankfully, I was right at 9 years and some change. I had fulfilled my initial service obligation of 8 years, so I didn't have to do any time after that. But I had a gut check moment to say, hey, are you going to go ahead and get out? If I re-enlisted one more time, it's going to put me in def over 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So I got out.
Gotcha.
One of the hardest decisions I've ever made.
Yeah.
If I would have stayed in 2 years from now, I've been retiring.
Oh, man.
So you got to think about it like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, so
that's tough, though,
Yeah.
man. You know, what, so from there, what was civilian life like? The adaptation to, you know, how was that for you, that transition?
To be totally transparent.
Yeah.
For the Commotion podcast.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
The first year that I was out was one of the hardest of my life. I was still in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
I hadn't started college yet, so I took some time off, had a little apartment down there.
About how old were you?
I was about 29 years old.
Okay.
I went in when I was 18.
Yeah.
So everything about me changed. When I was 18, up on the 50 cal, that's different.
Oh, yeah. That's balls to the wall.
Yeah, balls. Yeah, 28, 29. I'm scared of anything. A door creaking.
Yeah.
Something running. Hey, what's that? You know.
The guardian angel has been with me thus far.
Thus far, yes.
Probably tired.
Right. And that first year was the hardest for me because I didn't understand how hard that transition is. The Army does a great job of making sure you see the right people. Mm-hmm. You get in touch with the right employers, that you get your resume done, that you get your finances in order. What they don't prepare you for is the person that you're going to deal with on the inside.
Yeah.
We all identify with something. Our jobs, you're a father, you're a husband. Mm-hmm. It helps you get up in the morning.
Yes.
When I lost that feeling that I was a soldier, I had to figure out who I was.
Your identity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the most difficult part.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of long nights, that's when I realized, you know, with the PTSD setting in,
yeah,
the way I was moving, I realized I said, I need to get some help.
Yeah.
Not in a funny way.
Yeah.
But there was a bar, I remember, right across the street. There were women everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and I like to talk. So normally I would go over there, you know, and my buddy's like, hey, let's go out, you know, the cool bars right here.
Yeah.
That whole summer I didn't go.
Just no interest.
No interest in talking to anybody, no interest in even a platonic relationship.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, Derek, something's off. And I remember, and I can share this, but I would look forward to the day coming to an end, the sun going down, because I'm like, all right, I made it through another one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't live like this.
That's a tough place to be.
Right.
That is a tough place to be.
Yeah.
Did you turn to anything in particular that you felt helped get you through those times?
Family,
For
sure.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had a very real conversation with me, and she always has. Yeah. So I really appreciate that.
Love you, mama, right?
Love you, mom. Yeah, shout out, mom. Hey, she had a real conversation with me, and she said, what's holding you there?
Okay.
Job, school, you can go to school anywhere. I think you need to be around familiar faces.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Initially, when I started school, I had finished with my associates, and I finished the rest online.
Yeah.
So that was a good transition for me. But Texas is a beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
I loved Fort Worth. I love Irving, North Richland Hills, Austin, just all over.
Yep.
But there was an emptiness that I felt. And then to answer your question, I started getting into therapy, and I've tried all different kinds, exposure therapy, cognitive journaling. Journaling helped me out the most.
Just kind of writing your feelings down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I like going to therapy, not to dampen the mood, but it gives you somebody that you don't know that you can download with, and they can tell you, hey, I've felt the same way before.
Sure.
And you don't feel as you know,
even on a different scale, there's a certain familiarity to just losing your identity.
Right.
You know, whether it's somebody that was in law enforcement and now they're not, or somebody that was a teacher and now they're not, or a musician, you know, they're still, even though what you did was on a grandiose scale in comparison to a lot of those, you know, because of the sacrifice and because of the sheer pressure cooker environment that you were in.
Right.
It was that adrenaline dump that you have, you know, and stuff like that. But it is so nice to have just somebody that you can download to, man. I'm glad you got that.
Yeah. I've been in therapy now and I share this with people because I want people to seek it out for themselves.
Sure.
As a man, especially, to know that it's okay.
Yeah.
Because we bottle so much stuff up. Society tells us, hey, you need to deal with it this way.
Yeah.
Your brother's going to tell you to shut up, you know what I'm saying, and deal with it this way.
As they should. That's what they're there for.
That's what, you know, toughen up. And your buddies, you'll share and they'll listen.
Yeah.
But they may be going through some stuff as well.
Yeah, man.
So ever since 2013, I've been doing therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm still in it to this day.
Well, good, yeah.
And you said a good point with adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things even now that make my hair stand up.
Yeah.
I can't go to the grocery store and get in a long line where you're putting your items up on the belt.
Yeah.
And look back and see like 6 people behind me.
What do you think what is that?
That anxiety of being like funneled between that belt and then the snacks on the side.
Like a claustrophobic thing?
You know? And I'm like, if something kicked off right now.
Oh, yeah.
Where am I going?
That makes sense.
Is it this door?
Yeah.
Is this door when I go to a restaurant? I always know by fire code, they got an exit door on the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So I always tell people, if nothing else,
God.
make our way here, right?
Yes.
I'm looking at the door. I fill out a room when I go into it.
Mm-hmm.
How are people acting?
Mm-hmm.
Is this guy super drunk? Is he angry? Hey, he got loud. What's going on over here?
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So when I go out with someone, they already know, hey, let Derek have this seat so he can see, you know.
I never, and I've never been through it like that. You know, I was
Right.
in law enforcement, but not in a, you know, fast, super paced environment. But I still have zero trust in humanity.
Yes. Because,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
My
because.
back is not ever to a door.
No.
Ever.
No, ever.
You know?
And I'm sure that when you were in law enforcement, you know, you go out with a certain attitude. You don't want to be too lax, but you don't want to be like hypersensitive either, you know?
Yeah.
And you got to find that middle ground. And my therapist really challenged me recently. So I have this thing where at nighttime, I'm checking all the locks.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I might do a couple mag changes, you know, see if I can, you know, see if I still, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was like, you know, that's a joke, by the way. And she was like, hey.
No, it's not.
Right. She's like, hey, tell me who is coming for you. What does he look like? How many people with him? What's he driving? Where's he coming from? What time's he going to get here?
Yeah.
It pissed me off to the max because I could not answer.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? I just know he's coming.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'll be ready, right?
Yeah.
So she said, Derek, logically, if you can answer these questions for me, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
But if you cannot, I think what you're doing, you're creating this scenario for yourself that you're always prepared for.
Yes. It's okay.
Right.
See, to me, when you say stuff like that, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's just being prepared.
Being prepared, right?
You know, it might be a little much,
Right,
but whatever makes you comfortable to go to bed at night,
right, right.
who's to say that's wrong? I do the same thing. I check every single thing.
Everything.
But what I go by is if violence was predictable, I wouldn't need to do this.
You wouldn't.
You know
it's
what I
not
mean?
predictable.
Yeah.
That's why the people that do it in the fashions in which they do it.
Yeah.
You ain't never seen somebody go up in a police station and act a fool.
Not typically.
Not typically, because they're going to put it on you.
Yeah.
Right? You know?
There are repercussions.
Yes, there's a matter of time.
Yeah.
People do it where people are subject to violence in a place where they feel calm.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing on their mind.
Schools, churches, all
Yep.
these things. I was having a conversation with one of the guys in my office, and he's not against guns,
Yeah.
but he's like, you know, why? You
Right.
know, what make, you know, why? And I typically am always have one.
Right.
And he was like, but I trust you, you know, because you're trained and you've done all the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but Jake, if violence was predictable, none of this would matter.
Right.
And I tried to explain to him, I was like, and I did this with a guy that we used to tour with, and shout out Dave. What's up, buddy? I told him, I said, something pops off at one of the shows
Yes.
that we're at. You know, I'm always protected. I'm always ready. I've always scouted situations. I've already figured things out.
Right.
And you know, your guitar player hates guns, wants nothing to do with them, talks down about them every single chance he gets. Somebody comes in with a gun. Where are you going? You gonna go with that guitar player? Or you come and try to find me?
Fun, Rob.
Yeah, that's where we're going. You know, and it's just that mentality. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, to each his own. You do whatever you want to do. Not everybody's capable of having that responsibility,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, with you, I think you have found calm and solace in preparation.
Yes. And I feel like you're a family man.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure that a lot of that stuff, it's almost like wired into you. You know what I'm saying?
It should be.
It should be, you know,
Right.
and especially with the climate, and I don't want to get all, you know,
Sure.
with the climate of the way things are, I urge people, I urge women,
Yeah.
especially,
Mm-hmm.
get your concealed.
Yep.
Protect yourself.
Yep.
Most of the women in my family, they carry concealed.
Good.
And we've trained and they love it.
Yeah.
My sister loves it.
Yeah.
Every time she comes into town, I know what we're doing.
Going to the gun
Going
range.
to gun range. Like, it's a no-brainer, you know?
It's so much fun.
It's
man.
so much fun. And I really feel like it's a community. It brings people together. And it's an outlet for me.
Yeah.
You know, to keep that training up, to do certain things. Shout out to my buddy Blake. He still thinks he can shoot better than me. We'll put some money on it, whatever you want to do. But he's never been in law enforcement, military, anything like that.
Yeah.
But that guy is absolutely amazing. He
Yeah.
just trains.
That's awesome.
But, you know, I think that after I realized that I needed that help.
Yeah.
It was very, very hard for me because one of the things I struggled with the most was the friends that I have that are still in.
Okay.
And I'm watching my buddy, he just graduated Sapper School.
Yeah.
Another one of my buddies just got his Ranger tab.
Now, do you feel like jealous of that? Like, I want to be a part of that, or just like the brotherhood?
I almost feel like I let myself down.
By,
I feel like those guys, they're some of the best guys,
Yeah.
and they were built for it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Derek, did you sell yourself short?
I gotcha.
Did you get out at the right time? Did you have more?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You could experience that with them. You could have had another story with them. But I feel like that's the beautiful thing about life. And I just talked about this the other day. I feel like, and whether you're religious or not,
Yeah.
I feel like we go through certain doors.
We do.
We can only get so far before we're brought back center line again.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And that would have been just one of those doors.
Yep.
So I feel like my life went the way that I thought it should best. And those guys are amazing guys, and they've continued. And one of them just got pinned Sergeant Major, and I'm happy for him, and he's
that's
in
awesome,
Hawaii.
man.
And they're doing great things.
Yeah.
I think it makes me feel sad because I feel like I left that, and I'm no longer a part of it, you know? So
Yeah. I get that, with law enforcement. I wasn't in super long, but, I miss it. I miss just that camaraderie, and there wasn't as much of a brotherhood as I had hoped for within where I was at, but still, that just kind of, man, you know, and I still have an urge. I see the posts go up, for a sheriff's deputy or something. I'm like, oh man, my back's better now. But my wife and I, we have a real estate company that we're doing together.
I'd like to ask you about that when I get a chance. Yeah.
But we, and I love this path, and it allows the freedom to be with my babies and to be with my family.
Yeah.
And had I been not had the schedule I have yesterday, as I was telling you, would have been a lot different,
And that's know, that's something to think about too.
So for the people that don't know, obviously nobody knows, but I was telling Derek before we came in here, I came home yesterday. I had picked up my little man, 5 years old, and I'd picked him up. He wasn't feeling good from school. And we brought him home, and I went back at 3:00 to pick up my daughter, and I pulled in the driveway coming back from getting her, and my wife was running out, and my baby was completely limp in her arms and was having a seizure, which he has never had before. So yesterday was super crazy traumatic. I was able to, I had a little bit of training to know what to do. We got the ambulance here, and he's back upstairs. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Yeah, working and doing good. And but yeah, it's been a cry. I had about 30 minutes of sleep last night, so I'm running on empty.
But well, you're doing good, man.
Hey, I appreciate it.
And not to get too much into it, is this something that's happened to him before?
Never.
Okay.
Never. That's the crazy thing. This little dude is like been so healthy, not, doesn't complain. One of those guys that he's just I don't know how to explain it. He's an anomaly. Like he's never complaining, never sick, never hurt, never any of that stuff.
Right.
But that's why it caught me off guard, and I was like, oh my gosh, being on the other side. I've seen people have seizures in what I did,
right,
in that, but when it's your son or your family, it hits different. I felt like I went into almost autopilot. Like, oh, here we go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Do this, and
wow.
Praise the Lord that he's up there and doing fine.
Yes, sir.
So
That's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
But let's switch it up.
Yep.
I want some happy, man.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I don't mean to come on y'all's platform and give I'm sorry.
Listen,
I
I have such a love, and I bring on military, and
right.
I just have such a love for our armed forces and such an appreciation. And one of the do you know Buddy Check 22?
Yes.
So we had on two of the main founders of that.
Wow.
Like 3 years ago, and they were meeting in McAdoo's, I think in Radford at the time.
Okay.
And that's just such a great organization.
It really
man.
is.
What they're doing, free food,
right.
Come out, have some fellowship.
Right. They have no idea what that's doing for those guys. I mean, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But people battle these invisible things every day.
Yes.
And those guys are looking forward to that day of the week where they go get some good food, have some conversations, get some, help, resources.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm, shout out to those guys for sure.
Yeah, shout out, man. And I think once you come off and once you've been through that PTSD, the consensus of everybody that I've talked to that has gone through that in the situation is being around like-minded individuals.
Yes.
even once a week, once a month, it's just therapeutic within itself.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And you feel like the guys that you're around, they understand.
Yeah, they get it.
They get it. You know.
It's so hard when you don't have people to relate to.
Right.
It really is.
It's very hard.
It's a big adjustment.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me, comedian.
Yes.
How in depth is this comic thing for you? How you loving it?
I will say this. I feel like my personality has been this way my entire life.
Okay.
I feel like I've been running material on my family.
You've been running game.
I've been running the whole time, right? It's to the point now where I come and I say something at a family gathering.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 people will look at me and they say, "Did this really happen?" Because, you know.
They think you're just running a script.
I'll run something on them. If they laugh, I use it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
So my mom came to me one day and she said, "Derek, I think you missed your calling." She said, "The way you like to talk to people and interact with people, make people laugh," she's like, "You could be doing something with that."
Yeah.
So I don't want to make, a long story out of this. I was in South Carolina last year.
Okay.
We had already been filming my podcast for a while. We started 3 years ago. Filming off of our phones. There's some old footage out there. We called ourselves the Basement Boys.
Nice.
And I loved it because it was in my basement.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of Game of Thrones reviews like you've never seen before, And
why?
Because we loved that show so much.
All right.
And I loved some of the characters, and we created these like alter stories for them.
Okay.
Like Cersei wasn't just messing with this dude. She had all these, like it was crazy, right? So we really enjoyed it. And one of my buddies was like, "Hey man, you guys need to do something with this."
Yeah.
So we developed a name and it was already on YouTube.
Okay.
They had like 3.5 million subs.
Oh.
We're like, yeah, don't want to go up against that giant.
Can't do that one.
Can't do that one, right? So we had we had to come back to the table, regroup. That's where we came up, with the name that we have now. But to back up a little bit, I was in South Carolina. There was a brewery we went to.
Okay.
They had open mic night.
Sparked my attention.
Yeah.
By the way, do you want a drink?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They had an open mic.
Okay.
I was there visiting my sister and her best friend.
Sitting that.
Yeah. And my sister said, "Derek, sign up." I was
just to open mic.
Just
out
open
of
mic out of nowhere.
All right.
I said, "No way in hell." I said, "Morgan, no." She said, "Listen, it's a room full of people you don't know.
Yep.
If you bomb at worst, who cares?
Yeah. So be it.
You're never coming back here, right?"
Yeah.
So I'm looking around the room and it's filling up fast.
All right.
She said, "They're only taking 10 to 15 tonight, so they're going to give you 10 minutes apiece. Go ahead and sign up." 2 hours before we went back and got dressed. I start writing some of my jokes that I've had locked up here.
All right.
I wrote out a set list.
So you've been writing your whole life.
Whole life. Yeah. My
You've
phone
just
is
been
full.
waiting.
So I put together a set list, probably 6 jokes.
All right.
And my segues, I made sure I had those, right, to loop into each joke.
Yep.
I was the 5th comedian to go up. When they called my name, I sat still, couldn't move.
You peed a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. A little bit came out, right? My sister nudged me in the neck, like, "Go." And I was like, she's like, "Go." Shout out to Morgan, by the way. Appreciate you.
For the neck nudge.
For the neck nudge, yeah. So I got up there, and the room was so dimly lit, I could see the first 2 rows of people.
Yeah.
I knew everybody else was there, but it really helped me because I only focused on those first 2 rows. So I got the crowd's attention pretty quick. Before you knew it, they were shining the light. That's your time. Thanked everyone, went off. Everybody cheered real loud. My sister was crying. She was like, "That was amazing."
Awesome.
So I was like, "What just happened?"
So it worked.
It worked. Not to toot my own horn, but there were some people that came up to me. They said, "How long you been doing this?" I said, "Honestly, y'all gonna think this is funny, but it's my first show ever." And they're like, "You're still telling jokes." I said, "I'm not." I promise you I'm not. Like, this is the first stage I've ever been on, right? So a lot of people gave me some great advice, encouragement, and I continued from there. Had I not got on that stage last year, I don't know if I'd be doing what I'm doing now. So shout out to Morgan, Amanda, DJ, everybody that was there. They've continued to push me.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing about doing stand-up and stuff, I don't know if anybody else out there has ever done it, you're so hard on yourself putting your set list together.
Yeah.
And this overwhelming anxiety because you know you're next.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've been on stages around the world, right? Performed. You've probably been performing before and had an issue with some equipment and had to just roll on, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yep.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
So before I take my first word on stage, I feel like I got punched straight in the stomach every time.
Just a
And I'm
big,
just like,
big butterflies.
Yep.
Yep.
Then it goes away. So I continue to write. I have done about, I'd say about 12 or 13 shows since then.
Oh, okay.
So we're at Bull and Bones in Blacksburg. Shout out to Robbie.
Yeah, man.
He is the person that I really do thank for helping me get on stage there.
That's awesome. I need to go out there.
Yes.
How often does that happen?
I think it's every 2 weeks on a Thursday.
Okay.
And they start at 8 p.m. We usually run till 8 to 10
Okay.
or 9:30. Immediately after is karaoke, and it's great.
Awesome.
So it's really good. The last time we were there, packed it out. People love the show. It's a great time.
Awesome.
I've also performed at Ursula's Cafe in Roanoke last Friday. That was great. Thank you to Ursula's Cafe.
Yes.
We have another show coming up this weekend. Shout out to AJ Johnson. We'll be performing at Lost in Taste in Christiansburg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man.
Yeah, on Saturday at 9 p.m.
That's
So come out
awesome.
for that. We also have another show coming up next week, the 28th, which I believe is a Tuesday, at Sharky's in Radford.
Nice.
So that's the first venue that we've done at Sharky's because they want to start a comedy night.
Dude, that's so killer, man.
Yeah.
You know, what's ridiculous is my wife, she makes fun of me all the time because I've literally got a 45-minute set.
Do it.
Complete. It's way too vulgar for a dad. Like, it's bad.
Yes, this is
She's
awesome.
like, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
People know you. So, you know, and it's just one of those things where I have that, like, kind of like you did, like, oh man, I'd love to do that, you know, type of fun. Yeah, I just have to, I don't know.
I encourage you to come to an open mic.
Oh gosh.
Run 5 or 10 minutes of your best stuff, right?
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because you may be the next. You don't know.
Yeah, I
right?
guess. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, she may cringe a little bit because of those jokes.
Yeah.
But the people are gonna love it.
Yeah.
I find the more sometimes that you get into it and are honest.
Yeah.
I make fun of myself all the time.
And that's a lot of my stuff.
They
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
They want to hear you make fun of yourself.
Just honesty.
Honesty and the
Yep.
stories and the way you tell it, and they just really like dive into it. And my grandmother came to a show, and I told a joke, and the horror on her face was just.
Gosh.
She's like, you do that kind of stuff, you know? And I won't go into it too much, but she was like, Derek,
Yeah.
because I know when she went to church, people were probably talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that's the one time in my life when I'm on stage, I'm not held responsible
Sure.
from what I'm saying.
It's like being an actor,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's like, I'm not in Apocalypse Now. I didn't do that. I'm not in.
Training day.
Exactly.
You think Denzel's like that all the time?
Exactly.
He might
Yeah.
be.
Well, you never know.
You might be.
Dude, there is a gnat in here that's got just a huge dumper on it.
He said he a big old truck on it.
Yeah. But I think that would be hilarious.
Yes.
Just even if I bomb, so be it.
So be it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
You might give me the courage to do this, man.
I want to see you do it, man, because I think your personality, I know you've got some good material. I just feel it. I
hope,
feel
man.
it, you know?
We'll see.
And you run it.
It's all dick jokes, man.
I've got a bunch of those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, if they were selling dick at Walmart, the shelves would be empty, right? I'm telling you. I mean,
I bought it all.
There would be nothing left. You know what I'm saying? We'd be fighting in line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'd have to bargain. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take the 8.
Yeah.
You get the 7. You know what I'm saying? So
You got one with a jackhammer ass.
yeah. You know, so I feel like, man, the way people have encouraged me
Yeah.
and the love that I've gotten from the group that I'm with, Blacksburg Comedy Club, shout out to Jordan B., Catherine, Zach, Robbie. I'm going to forget some people because I'm on the spot.
Sure,
Shout
yeah.
out to everybody. The real comedy, L.A. Preston, everybody that's helped me that I perform with, they're all great.
Yeah.
And these people are phenomenal, and I'm just so thankful to be a part of what they're doing.
That's killer, man. Do you
Yeah.
guys get together and kind of is it like a group where you just kind of throw material back and just have fun?
Sometimes before or after the show,
Yeah.
we'll go together. Like we were in Roanoke last week, and we went out to Jack Brown's afterwards, get some burgers, right?
Yep.
So we're already talking about the next show. Before that show started, we got in a little group. I'm like, hey, what are you running? Catherine's like, hey, I'm going to run XYZ. And I'm like, that's solid.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, what are you running? And he's like, man, you know I'm coming with. So we do kind of talk together and say, hey, should I put that in there? But what I had to do was gauge the crowd.
Sure.
Right now, when this crowd came into Ursula's, it was a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah. So one dude brought in a dog, right? Service
that.
dog. I'm like, cool, awesome, right? Love dogs. Couple women started coming through with different color hair.
Okay.
And I got a joke immediately, right?
You got one.
Right.
Yep.
They had, what are those boots those girls wear? What are they called?
Uggs?
No, not Uggs. It's like this combat boot.
Oh, there's Doc Martens?
Doc Martens.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're sexy, right?
Okay.
Love them,
Whatever you
right?
say.
Whatever you, right? So I'm being a little transparent here.
Yep.
So all these girls come in with this different color hair.
Yep.
And I'm like, ooh, I got them. So I told my buddy Jordan, he's like, Derek, you're retarded. Don't do it. He told me don't do it, right? I said, no, I'm running it, right?
You're going to pick them out the crowd.
Pick them out the crowd. So I got up there and I said, I got to be honest with you ladies in here. These boots, sweetheart, they're doing something to me, right? I said, I had to bring water up here just to be able to look at you, right?
Okay.
Her face got so red. I said, to everybody else that's in here with your colored hair, please tell me that y'all have a pair of elf ears somewhere at home. I said, because that would really do it for me. I
She
said,
just pulled out some dust.
yeah. And I said, and on top of that, do we have any Zelda memorabilia? Do I have shields and swords and stuff? I said, because that would really get me going. They lost it because they have that stuff.
Dude, you should have pulled up the theme song at some point and just put it on the mic.
Played it on
this
the
is
mic.
for y'all.
Yeah, Zelda. So I feel like that crowd,
Yeah.
I kind of got a second to really gauge the crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that went over well with them because they can directly kind of associate to like some of that stuff.
Sure.
So sometimes getting there and looking at the crowd helps out a ton. Might give you one or two you didn't know you had.
I got you.
When we performed at Longway Brewery in Radford,
Yep.
I looked in and I said, this is a damn scene from Yellowstone, right? I was panicking. I was like, I don't know about this. So I found a guy that looked just like Rip.
Where's he from?
Yeah. You want to fight? No, I want to eat lunch. Well, you want to fight after that, right?
Yep.
So I saw the guy that looked like Rip.
Yep.
I said, when I cue that we have a celebrity in the house tonight, will you please stand up and I will introduce you as Rip?
All right.
He was like, not a chance, right?
Damn.
I said, please.
Do it anyway.
Help me out. He said, you know what, man? You go find me some toothpicks. I'll do it.
Oh, that's a necessity.
Gotta have it.
That's 100% a necessity.
Gotta have it. So
Yep.
I went to the back and I said, hey, y'all got any toothpicks? They said, sure.
Yep.
He said, all right, we'll do it. Show started. I said, listen, all y'all look great tonight. Give it up for yourselves. We got a celebrity in the house tonight.
Just kicking it off.
Kicking it. Rip stands up. The women
Yeah.
go crazy, right?
Yeah.
And he was a little bit thinner than Rip, but
Yeah.
black beard, all black Levi, get up. It was
Yeah.
great.
How about that show, by the way? Where did that come out of?
I love it.
I love it.
I love it. I really feel like in a past life I was a cowboy.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like I really feel like that.
Yep.
And like I always listen to Toby Keith, Should Have Been a Cowboy. Right?
Okay.
Love that song.
So the
And-
song that you heard at the very beginning, that
Yeah.
was my band, Should Have Been a Cowboy.
Really?
That was the name of the band,
That's amazing.
even though it was just me.
Right. But it sounded like 8 different people in there.
Yeah, I was doing a bunch of stuff.
So
just
that's
not
right.
just not simultaneously.
Right. That's really cool.
Yep.
And the room had a lot of people that were from the age of like 50 up.
Okay.
So I was like, some of my jokes might not go over well.
Yeah.
Right? They loved it.
Okay.
After the show was over, we're all sitting on the stage. These older generation of people are coming up. They're like, that was great.
Yeah.
And they told every person that performed, Zach, Jordan, everybody.
I think Zach was one of the ones that Robbie said I needed to have on.
Okay, yeah,
That's right,
Zach's a good dude. He's hilarious. Like
Yeah.
that guy.
Does he have the red hair?
Red hair, long
Yeah.
hair, yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Zach, by the way.
Yeah, man.
He's hilarious. So I feel that sometimes when I've been a little bit judgmental about the audience that we're going to have,
Yeah.
I've been wrong.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I find that staying true to myself,
Yeah.
talking about things that I know,
Yeah.
telling embarrassing stories about myself,
Yeah. You know, because people can pick up on inauthenticity. Was that a word? Inauthenticity.
I think
right?
so. Yeah.
They just pick up on it. If you're having to mold, you know, even as a musician or anything, if you're like playing kind of a down set because you feel like they don't have the energy to appreciate an upset, you know, that's the same type thing. You just kind of be yourself, man.
Be yourself and let them receive it and see what they do with it, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. We got some more shows coming up. And this year, I promised myself, doing stand-up comedy makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People think that it's easy because of the type of personality that you may have.
Yeah.
Oh, Rob, you can get up there and talk about anything, you know? But it's very hard.
Oh, I can't imagine.
So, you know,
because makes me want to pee a little.
Yeah, because you want to do well.
Yep.
Anything that I do, I want to do it well.
Yeah.
And I want people to receive it the right way. So this year I told myself, Derek, you got to push yourself beyond any discomfort, anything that you may not want to do, because they say when you get discomfort, keep pushing.
Yeah.
Because you're on to something.
That's when you grow.
So I'm really, really trying. For everybody out there that supports me, I really appreciate y'all because it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's on the horizon in that regard? You know, you're pushing yourself to do more shows. Do you have anything that's like in your sights that you're like, I really want to do this one?
I'd really, really like to expand out to Charlotte. Get down to I love the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
I'd like to get
Zanies.
on. Yep.
Yeah,
get on some bigger stages.
Yep.
And really run my material. And I feel like that'll be something to me because that is like the ultimate test, right?
Yeah.
Bigger rooms, more people, see how it goes. And I've prepared myself in my mind. Every set that I may do may not be a hit. The jokes that land well, I keep them.
Yeah.
The ones that don't, when I go back and I get my book, I scratch them.
Yeah.
And then we just condense and build. So I feel like me maybe going out to Tennessee, me heading down to Charlotte, maybe Atlanta. I got a buddy down there that does some comedy.
Yeah.
I really feel like that would get me on different stages and really give me a taste of what it's like in bigger cities.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, dude. I need to just come out and check it out.
Come, you'll have a great time.
So when is Lost in Space? When's that one?
So that one is Saturday night.
This Saturday.
This Saturday, that'll be the 25th.
Okay.
Y'all can check me on that at 9 p.m.
Okay.
Yep. And I think they're selling pre-tickets for it or something like that you can go either contact AJ or somebody at Lost in Taste.
Yeah.
They have them if you DM AJ.
Sure.
And shout out to AJ, by the way. He's the one that partnered up with Catherine, another comedian. She's hilarious and I perform with. They were the ones that kind of got this like Black History Month show together.
So is that kind of like the Lost in Space thing? Is that the Black History Month show?
That's a Black History Month show, and we have all different ethnicities on the lineup and everything. So
I'm white.
You're fine.
I'm cool. I'm good.
No, it's fine.
I'm with you.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Okay.
No,
I was a little worried.
No, we want to put a funny spin.
Okay.
On some of the things that are very like it's Black History Month and people get like we don't want to but it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's more about us educating each other. Let's have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
Let's talk about things that we can do different, or maybe there's some things on your mind that you've never talked to somebody about. And I'm like, no, man, it's not like that. You know, so I think the show's going to be really cool. I think people will enjoy it, and they'll be able to come out, have great food, a good laugh.
Dude, he's got some smacking tater tots.
Those, what are they called? The space tots?
I don't know.
I forget what they're called, but they're delicious.
Yeah. Something in that oil. He
Yeah.
puts a little hemp or
A
something.
little something in there. Have you had the wings?
I haven't had the wings. I've like, in all honesty, I've only been there once.
Yeah.
I took my kids. My kids made it a very miserable experience.
He said miserable, right?
I was like,
Yeah.
all right, this Christiansburg dude. My wife went to school with him, you
Yep.
know, and I sat down. And kids were like, wild. And I was like, okay. So we ordered the food, and I was eating and not even knowing I was eating.
Right.
You know, one of those
You're
situations.
eating, but you're like, hey, sit down. Hey,
Stop.
stop. Hey, put your drink down.
Spilled-
Yep.
Spilled your milk.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were, he was 4 and she was 6 at the time. So you can imagine I had 2 little Energizer bunnies just back and forth.
And
I'm
they're
like,
seeing all that stuff in there.
oh, yeah.
The lighting.
Yep. It
So,
was,
yeah.
shout out, though. That is a really cool place. And from what
Yeah.
I can tell, I didn't get sick, so it must have been good food.
It's good food. I didn't get sick, so we'll go back. Hey,
That's my judge
Right.
on if food is good.
If
Did
food is
I
good, yeah.
shit my pants the next time?
Right.
No, I think I'm good.
no, the burgers are phenomenal there. If you like burgers, I know a lot of people are doing the vegan route. They have some of those things as well. Everything that I've tried on that menu, and not just because he's a friend,
Yeah.
but they really do. Not only the presentation of the food,
Yeah.
but the taste. They put love into it, so
Yeah.
you can definitely tell that.
So that used to be a really cracked out Denny's.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a little loud on the sound. I'm sorry.
No, it's got
don't have to-
compressors
Yeah,
on
don't
it.
have to.
We're good. We caught you.
We made jokes about that all the time, that back in the day, you could drive by there and there's no telling of what you might get a glimpse of.
It's just off the interstate,
Right.
81,
Right.
which connects D.C. to the South.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you got
So
everything.
you never know. And why does it every single Denny's we traveled, every single Denny's had the same smell,
Yes.
and you stuck to everything, like had a layer of like maple syrup
Right. Everywhere.
and onions. It smelled like onions, maple syrup, and you just stuck to
Yeah.
it.
The boost. If you tried to slide, your clothes would wrinkle up. You're not sliding. Yeah. You're not sliding anywhere. Yeah.
If you wore shorts, you were losing a layer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They coming right off.
You might have a severe burn on, because I don't know. I remember going in, and usually when we went in, I was probably inebriated at
Right.
some point.
Yes.
But I remember Mexican restaurants and Denny's, you smell like it afterwards.
You're
You
gonna
always
try-
smell like it.
Right.
And I don't know what it was, but that Denny's in particular, it was cracky.
Yes, it was suspect. You know the food's gonna be good
It's gonna be
when
food.
the guy cooking's a little overweight, maybe 3 teeth,
Yep,
right? And
yep.
he's yelling at everybody.
He is mad. Why is he so mad?
And he's mad because he's picking up all the slack and he's
true.
back there adding his own stuff into the food. It's not how they're supposed to cook it, it's how he wants it.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you got the smoke break happening in the back.
It's
you know,
8 people back
and
there.
dude's pissed. And
Right.
guy comes back in. And he's like, "You gonna put pepper in that?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to that guy.
Yeah, hat backwards, no hairnet.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
the hat is soaked. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's got that salt ring around. It's just like, why are you so sweaty?
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
He's juggling 8 different plates. Order up. He's tapping the thing. I'm telling you, anytime we go to Waffle House,
Yeah.
we look in there. I need to see 3 people. I need to see the young girl that's over on her phone and she doesn't give a damn about how many tables are waiting.
She's new.
She's new.
Yeah.
I need to see the guy that I'm talking about. He's got like 8 different orders going on.
He's definitely got a ponytail.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely got a ponytail and probably drives a Cadillac of some kind, right?
Probably, yeah. And
Yeah.
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 Probably mid 90s.
That's right.
Because anything
North Star V8.
Yeah, hey, I don't know. That's a lot of gas.
Right.
But anything before that's expensive, anything after that's expensive. So
Yep.
like 92 to 94, El Dorado maybe.
Lock
I don't
it
know.
in,
Yeah,
right?
we're locking that in.
Yep. And then you got the woman up front. She's running everything, got her hair up.
Yeah.
She's chewing bubble gum, got a little bit of an attitude,
Yep,
but she's running drinks. She's making sure everybody's good. So I look for those. If I see that,
yep.
we got good food coming.
And she's the one that always leaves an absorbent amount of water on the, instead of wiping it clean,
Right.
she wipes it wet.
Why? Yeah, that rag has been used for all.
Nasty, dude.
Yeah.
You sit down, she's like, "Hold on, baby, let me clean this up for you." And you're
Yeah.
like, and you hear it like, and you're like,
I don't even want to put my elk. Like, should I? Yeah.
it's not Denny's. Denny's dries automatically.
Right.
It's like set in stone.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
It's,
I guess
they're
it's got a,
spraying alcohol.
it's
out of
got
the
a,
thing. Yeah.
what's the word? It's got a what is it when it dries real fast?
I know exactly
Screw
what you're
it.
talking about.
Oh,
I
well.
can't even think about it. Yeah.
But there it's the opposite. It stays wet.
Stays wet. And I will say this, my buddy, shout out, he's on my show, Preston, right?
Okay.
When we go to Waffle House, he showed me this, and I haven't done it.
Okay.
He gets a chocolate milk, puts a little bit of that table sugar in the bottom of it and stirs it. I tasted it.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
That's just chocolate milk. Still.
Still chocolate milk.
What's the difference?
But I'm telling you,
Just a little more diabetes.
yeah, a little bit more the sugars in there. Whatever that table salt that they have.
Oh, it's salt.
No, I'm sorry. I said table salt. Lord forgive me. I meant sugar.
Okay.
He adds a little bit of sugar.
scared me.
Right? in the glass container with the little
the
lip
little
on
flap.
it, yellow flap.
Yep.
Whatever's in that,
That's
I'm
not sugar,
telling
man.
you. Shout out to Preston with that chocolate milk. I'm telling you, he's on to something.
That's booger sugar.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know what.
Y'all
I
are
was
just-
like rubbing my teeth after this. I don't know what's going on.
Y'all are just coked up and with wet sleeves.
Wet elbows. The menu won't come up.
Oh,
off
dude.
No.
For the longest time, I didn't know they had a back. They were just stuck to the table.
Stuck to the table. And Waffle House has a menu that nobody knows about.
What?
Saw it on TikTok.
Get out of here.
So you can go in there and ask them, can I see the full menu? They give us a condensed menu so they don't have to cook a lot.
Sons of bitches.
So, yep, they've been getting us for years. Ask for the full menu.
Okay.
They got steak sandwiches, daggone parfaits. I don't know. Crazy stuff.
Lord.
Yeah.
Everybody just, the shitty CD player that somebody's playing like Belle Biv DeVoe on.
Yeah.
It stops. All three of the employees look at
Look
you.
at you like, what do you mean the full damn menu?
Get him the menu.
Yeah. They bring it out, Yeah, I'm telling you, they got
the water, sling the water off.
gets in your eye. You're like, God. They have a full menu.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, next time y'all go to Waffle House, ask for it.
Okay.
They got it.
Bet. It's happening.
It's happening.
Here's the other thing that I can't figure out about Waffle House. Why do they just put a square chunk of damn cheese can you not stir that?
In the middle.
In the damn middle.
So all the outside is ashy and crispy.
It's not,
And you got this big
smothered. My damn ass. I want a blanket.
Lightly layered is what they should call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah. They put it
Center.
right in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, Waffle House. I don't guess we'll get a sponsorship. But
Right.
Whatever.
We love y'all.
Yeah, we really do like your food.
Yeah.
I did a really high karate kick in Waffle House in Blacksburg one time when I was drunk.
Now, was this on someone?
No.
Or just in the open?
I was feeling it.
Right. You
know?
just sent it.
And I was having a conversation with the folks there that I was enjoying the night, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Do y'all want to see a freaking really high karate kick?" And they wanted to, and I did it. End of story, Derek. Stop pressuring me.
Yo, that is hilarious. It reminds me of that dude that you see on the internet. He's got like the red gi, and he's like, kick his knee, kick his other knee, stomp his toe,
Okay.
hit his groin again.
don't
And he
know if
like,
I've
you
seen
ever
it.
seen that?
No.
That's what it reminds me of right there.
All right.
Like overkill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
yeah, hilarious.
I don't know why I did that. We had really good drinks. We were out at the brewery out at Sinkland.
Yeah, Singham Farms. Shout out Singham Farms.
Yeah, man. I haven't been out there in forever.
Yeah.
They should do a comedy night. Are they still doing stuff?
They are still doing stuff. Shout out to Singham Farms. Curtis
Yeah.
actually helped me get an interview on my podcast with Dan Marshall from
Good. I know
American
Curtis
Idol.
well.
So we probably should reach out to Curtis and see
Yeah.
if we can get some stuff going over there. Yeah.
I'd love to. You know what would be cool is if we did like a co-live podcast
What?
and do a comedy night.
Yes. And then we can perform the intro music, burn that. I just wanted to scream.
I don't want them to melt.
that.
Oh.
Right.
So let's do this. Let's take a quick break.
Yep.
We'll get a little bit of business out of the way, and we'll be right back with some more funny stuff.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Drew, it's Rob with Thackerville Estate Group. I actually got your number from Brad. He had mentioned that you had a house to sell in Virginia.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we actually met. Yep, that's me. Hey, I thought you might want to chat. I'm in the area right now and would love to stop by.
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Oh, nice. What are you watching?
Oh, just some scary movie.
I love scary movies, actually. If you have time, I'd love to stop by and talk about selling your house.
Uh-huh.
The first time we talked, you said that you might have been talking with someone else.
No.
I know for a fact that you're talking to another realtor.
What did you say?
I said I know for a fact that you are talking to another realtor. You want to play these games, answer the phone like, hello, and all that stuff. We went to dinner with Brad and Angie like 2 weeks after that party, and you're sitting here talking to me about selling your house, and now I find out it's somebody else?
Look, I gotta go.
It just kind of hurts, Drew. I thought we had something. We had such a connection. I just want to know who. I just want to know who.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
No, that's more lies. I'm pretty sure that's what you're watching right now on TV. You can end it now. Just tell me who, Drew.
Tell me who it is.
The guy in the white mask who walks around and stalks babysitters.
Oh, I knew it. Oh my gosh. Of all the people that you could have used, bye, Drew. Like, this is goodbye.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Had to give me a little bit of this Kroger brand seltzer water.
You're right.
You know, my wife swears by these, and I'm starting to swear by them too. They're better than the Zevias. Is that right? Is that a word?
I don't know if I've seen those.
The LaCroix.
Gotcha.
Right? So
Yep.
we always do little mixer drinks, and some of them are just too syrupy,
Gotcha.
too sugary, you know. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there.
So is that an acquired taste, the seltzer water, or do you have to?
It's kind of like drinking, like if a TV was turned off, like static.
Right.
That's kind of what it is in your mouth.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just
Yep.
kind of like nothingness.
Gotcha.
But if they put lime in there, it's like nothingness with synthetic lime.
With a little lime in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's kind of fake. Like I'm kind of poser right now, I guess. I don't know.
Right, gotcha.
But-
You got in there.
Always
Kind of like
kinda-
this. Have y'all tried White Claws?
Oh, God. Derek.
Now, the only reason I'm asking this is because
That's racist.
that's got to be racist, right? Only reason I'm asking this
Get
is because get out. He's never come back. There are so many people that have sent me messages
Yeah.
about like, hey, do y'all like White Claws? Because we talked about liquor and beer on the last
yeah.
show. And I was like, you know, people make fun of me because I'm the dude that's going to go to the bar and order a daggone Long Island or something fruity.
Yeah.
All my friends make fun of me, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I want it to taste like juice.
Yeah.
Now, if I take a shot of Patron,
Yeah.
battery acid.
Yeah.
Like, why do people do that?
So we used to get that on a rider. We used to get a shot, you know, Patron.
Yeah.
We'd have a bottle every single night. I got an acquired taste to it eventually.
Right?
But yeah, it's not
rough.
that's not my goal.
Right.
And that's one of the things, like, you could sit there and you could try every variation. I think I don't lean to the sweet side on my drinks.
Gotcha.
Because I'm like, I like bourbon, I like whiskeys, I like old fashions. I really like a smoky drink.
Yep.
You know, stuff like that. This, you know, these little seltzers with a little splash of Tito's it's just nice, you know, because it's not heavy and you can just chill with it.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah, you should, man. You want one?
I'm going to try it. I'm going to get one right before I leave.
All right.
I'll try it out. Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
So where do we leave off? Waffle House?
We were talking about Waffle House. We had somebody come into the comments.
Yeah, let's see what we got
Hey,
here.
they supported what we were talking about. I think they confirmed.
J Lyric 23 said, "Yo, y'all ain't lying. Kapow!"
Right?
Seriously.
Seriously.
So my thing is, why would they hide this from the great American public?
Right. And my whole thing was, what I thought was, they're like, hey, we are already trying to facilitate all these tables, right?
Yeah,
Because it comes in waves.
sure.
1 minute, it's,
Yep.
you know, you got one dude in the corner. He's had 8 cups of coffee. Everything's cool.
Yep,
Next minute,
that's Steve.
you know, that's Steve. That's definitely Steve.
Steve.
Yep.
Go on.
Next minute, you got a bunch of teenagers,
Yep,
right?
true.
Just came from a bonfire or something.
Yep.
Let's go to Waffle House.
Yep.
Now they got crazy requests.
Litty on White Claws.
White Claw? What in the White Claw's going on here?
Back to this White Claw real quick. I forgot that we got away from that
Yeah,
so
we
fast.
did. We did.
So I got a buddy, Jeff Revan. Jeff, I know you're listening because you're Jeff and I love you. He hey Logan, open your mic up real quick.
Yeah, what's going on?
How did he come about that nickname White Claw? Do you remember?
So it was actually at a UFC watch party
Oh,
with
Lord.
all of us, like it was the deputies and the city PD.
Okay.
And I believe that Jordan, shout out Jordan, he actually brought some White Claws in.
Jordan, God.
Yeah, and of course it was Jordan of all
He said-
people. He brought some in, and so Revan was like, "Oh, let me try one of those."
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, the case is gone,
that's
and
his nickname.
Revan's off his ass.
I guess. I don't know. The only thing I remember is he said, it wasn't that bad. And I just gave him that nickname, White Claw.
White Claw.
You know, because at the time that was just that girl's drink. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's like, you know,
Yeah.
well, when I toured, I was, you know, on the road country music artists and White Claws, just cans everywhere.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it was just a sea of
White Claw cans.
just bad decisions.
Right, right. I think they have a high content, like 4 or 5%.
They do.
Right, yeah.
They do.
So they'll get you. I saw a meme It was a bunch of people dancing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a fight breaks out, and they start beating the brakes off each other.
Okay.
The first comment at the bottom of this video, what in the white claws going on here?
White people are weird, man.
I was like, yo, stop.
So
Just stop.
So I know within the Caucasian side of humanity, we have some really stupid people.
I'm not laughing at what you said. I'm laughing because you're laughing.
You cannot
For the
laugh
audience,
at this.
Commotion Podcast, I am not agreeing with him. I'm laughing because he laughed.
But
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we get these people that are just like, damn it. You know,
He said, damn it.
you're giving it's like the televangelists that give Christianity a bad name.
I saw a guy, not to cut you off.
No, please do.
He took his suit jacket
Okay.
and he threw it like a frisbee out into the congregation.
Did it come back?
Everybody that was up under that suit jacket fell out.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
And Lord forgive me, Lord knows my heart. I cried
Yeah.
because I couldn't help it. Like, what?
What's his name?
I
know who
forget
you're
his, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
I mean, he just threw it.
Yeah.
And everybody dropped. The whole left side dropped.
Yeah.
And I said, Lord, there's a reason why I'm looking at this right now. I feel that you gave me this personality for a reason.
Yes.
I'm laughing. I'm just letting y'all know.
You gave me this discernment.
Right. Discernment.
I'm using it.
right. Because I don't know about this guy.
I've seen some of them
Yeah.
where they put it to heavy metal music, like, and it's a mosh pit, you know,
Right.
and they're all going crazy. It's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Is it because we're white?
No.
Are we really
no,
there?
We're not there.
Okay, what is it?
I've always wanted to go to a rock concert or something.
Yeah.
Where the guy's like real deep. And I freaking love that, right?
Yes.
When I was in high school, we used to listen to like System of a Down,
hell yeah.
Mudvayne.
That's
stuff
my
like
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Love System of a Down, right?
Yep.
And before football games, it would give me this incredible, like, I feel like I could do anything,
Yeah,
right?
man.
So I see a lot of videos right now where it's like a concert.
Uh-huh.
Everybody kind of starts waving their arms a little bit.
Okay.
It's a lot of backwards fist,
Kung Fu fighting.
spinning fist, kicks,
Yep.
jabs.
It's no joke.
It's no joke, but nobody gets mad.
Nope.
This girl decided to walk through the direct middle of all this that was going on.
This sounds unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. She made it all the way across the room and caught a spinning heel to the jaw.
Oh,
And just dropped her where she was. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. But I've always wanted to ask somebody that might know,
yeah.
is this a sanctioned brawl? Like, did we talk about this before this starts?
So it's known because I used to be in those bands.
Okay.
I never did kung fu fighting. I was more of a push pit, you know, like the old Pantera, like, rah,
Gotcha.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, circle pits and stuff like that. But these kids, I moved to Nashville early 2000s, and I started a recording studio.
Okay.
And I was recording all the up and coming screamo, like new metal, metalcore, and that's when all this stuff started happening. And I put on a showcase show at the Muse down there when the Muse was a big thing, and then we did stuff at Rocket Town at a bunch of venues. And I started seeing that trend happening. People just slinging their arms and fists, and there were some that were at some of the heavier shows, like the Acacia Strain was a band that was really heavy, and they came in, and people would just literally run and jump over the crowd and throw fists.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I could just see that in my head.
Dude. So this happened at one of the shows that I was at.
Okay.
And I was just hanging with my buddy Jason, and we played music together. And I was like, if this summit comes over this way, I'm catching him.
Oh, we're going
I'm
to
done.
flatten him. Yeah.
So he came over, and before he did that, he hit a girl in the back of the head.
Lord.
He had aim. He was coming. He hit her in the back of the head. I was like, please come this way.
Right.
Dude, he came over and he bounced, and there was 2 or 3 people in front of me. I caught eyes with that dude, and I mean, I flattened his face, bro.
Lunchbox. That's what I
So
call
he fell out, and you
Yeah.
know, everybody picks each other up.
Right.
You know, nobody would pick him up. They had to drag him out.
Let him lie.
He was out, dude.
Yeah.
But to me, I get it. I understand. Have your fun, do your stuff, kind of all that.
Right.
But when you start targeting kids and shit, don't
That's
do that, man.
the point that I was getting to.
Yeah, don't do that.
Is it just, it's a free for all?
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be targeting people. Oh, look at Buddy across. He's not even looking at me right
Yeah.
now. And then you sneak him. I don't think
That's
that's the
dick.
purpose.
That's a dick.
That's a dick, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like having fun, letting your body go, and just,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Expression.
Right. So that's what I was like, okay. My buddy said there was another video, this black guy,
Yeah.
he goes into one of these concerts or whatever.
Yeah.
You see the grin on his face from ear to ear. He's at the bar.
Yeah.
He starts winding up with that like to the hip in the air fist motion, whap, and he's just whipping his hands all over the place. People are getting rocked left and right.
Yeah,
and
dude.
then he just exits stage left. He just walked away.
Yeah.
And I was like, you dick. Like you knew for a fact what you were doing, you know?
Dude, you'd see him come off the stage and stage dive and like just try to stomp on people and try to hit people. I don't understand it.
Right.
I mean, I love the circle pits and running and having a good time
Right.
but dude, you don't target kids, don't target people. To me, that's a little bit too much.
You're getting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never would have thought you listened to Mudvayne.
Oh,
and it's not because you're a different color.
Right.
Than me.
Yeah. No. Like I shout out, like, I think who put me onto that was like Richard Bowen.
No way.
Richard Bowen was playing the bass in high school. They had a band. Matt
Baker is my brother-in-law.
I was going to bring that up
Okay.
at some point.
Sorry, I'm back.
Right. And I was like, shout out to Matt. And my fondest memories of Matt is making him laugh because Matt had, and let me get this wrong. He had a S10
Yep.
black 5-speed. I think it had a 4.3 in it.
It did.
But he had some work done to it.
Okay.
And that thing would scream. So we would try to line him up with everybody that we could. And Matt knows this, okay?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we were the neighborhood nitrous before there was a neighborhood nitrous, right?
Yep.
And I remember we ran down towards Shawsville
Yeah.
one time, and that truck would flat out fly.
Yep.
Shout out to Matt, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Matt remembers that truck. I know he does.
Yeah.
Which brings me in,
Yeah.
when you had all those fast cars.
Yeah.
My first job was at Wade's.
Okay.
Okay, I was a bagger, right?
All right.
Got my job at Wade's. Back in the day, they were giving people handwritten math tests
To go to Wade's?
to get a job at Wade's.
Good for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here with these long
So
division
how the
problems.
hell did you get a job?
I have no idea. They had to feel like sorry, right?
All right, Derek.
Yeah.
1 plus 1.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Like, dang, like he didn't even bring his remainder up on this problem. Like, where's the rest of this stuff? I got the job, right?
Yeah.
I remember, and I don't remember this during this time. You had that garage across the street.
Yeah.
There was some Civics, probably 1,000 horsepower. I don't know what you were running back in the day.
Yeah.
But your name was ringing
Oh, yeah.
around the area. Robbie Dack, he's running this. I said, who the hell is this guy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's like, back then, they were telling everybody, he's 7 foot. He's 7. I was like, in a Civic?
It's like a damn Sasquatch.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was like, you know,
The
he's
legend of-
Right, yeah. He's 7 foot in a Civic. And I'm like, who is this guy? Well, get to school. I start talking to Matt.
Yeah.
Matt's like, dude, he builds cars. Like, he's got some daggone cars that'll run.
Yeah.
And I remember just dreaming to get enough money up to buy my buddy's 86 Camaro.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And back then, $4,000 could have been $40,000
Oh, yeah.
because I was getting $160 a week.
Yeah.
So I was like, what am I ever going to do this? You know? So
Yeah.
I just remember living like vicariously through you guys that had those fast cars back then.
Yeah, man.
Because when Fast and Furious, the first installment,
Yeah.
played at the New River Valley Mall.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan Poovey. Shout out to all those guys. It was nothing but Civics the next week that pulled up in big cans on them. Everybody's downshifted. You know,
Yeah.
that, I mean, it changed
Dude,
everything.
that fattened my pocket quite a bit.
I bet it did. Everybody was running to you. Like,
They were, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I want this exhaust.
Yeah. So we were doing it before the Fast and Furious came out.
That's crazy.
And when they came out, I was the first one to do an import, and I had a 86 CRX.
Ooh.
And it was green. You know, it was custom painted green. At the time, the aftermarket didn't support it because, you know, it wasn't crazy. You know, nobody's wanting to build a Honda. You know, what are you talking about?
Right.
Right. So I think I had like headers, exhaust, I had a cam in it, maybe an intake, but the car weighed like 1,800 pounds. That was the green one.
Rocket.
You know, so it was fast, you know, for what it was. And, you know, it just snowballed from there, man. And then, you know, we were racing. We were in Roanoke. We were all over the place, street racing. And
Y'all were in magazines, too.
we went to Nope, and we had cars and magazines. And
I'm sitting here with a legend, y'all. Like, this is the guy we used to talk about, like, back in school. Like, we used to talk about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious. Ask Matt. Like, you know, we couldn't even, like, we're like, hey, go talk to him. I'm like, I'm not going to talk to him. You go talk to him. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Because we were just wanting information.
Yeah.
Because I remember we got pulled over twice in one night.
Yeah.
Coming back from Orange Avenue.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Up there cruising.
Roland Williamson.
And I remember we got pulled over twice. And my buddy Matt Minnick,
Okay.
he had a red Firebird.
Yeah.
And we were flying.
Yeah.
Got pulled over. Cop told us, he said, go home now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
All right, we're going home.
Yeah.
I'm in the passenger seat like, sir, I've done nothing wrong, please. No, I'm joking.
Peed a little.
Right. Yeah.
Why you pee so much?
Yeah. So he's got the light, like mag light, like right in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh. So Matt's like, let's just chill. Matt takes off again, going down through there. He's grabbing gears. We're flying. I'm screaming, yeah. Lights lit us up again, right?
They didn't learn that night.
Did not learn. Next guy, he said, hey, I just heard a port maybe 20 minutes ago. Was that y'all? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. We're just trying to rush home. And he's like, I don't think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, slow down.
Yeah.
We creeped home after that. You know what I'm saying? Matt remembers that night, but it was crazy. But I just remember everybody during that time was really, the guys that had money,
Yeah.
they were tuning. They were trying to do this, probably coming to see you.
Yeah.
The V8 guys, there were a couple guys they were going to.
Yeah.
And Craig Childress had his older brother has a shop out there in Roanoke. I think it's called Universal
Okay.
Car Care
Okay.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Garage. Great guys. He had a 86 Monte Carlo SS.
Oh, I love those, man.
Small block in it, built out.
Yeah.
Craig would run that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just that nostalgia,
Oh, so fun.
you know.
Just the memories of, I mean, it's a shame now. Nobody appreciates that, like, personal connection and going out and forgetting your phones. Shit, we didn't have phones. You know what I mean? We didn't have cell phones.
No.
And we would we called it the Hardee's 500 here in Christiansburg. We'd go from Hardee's,
Right.
you know, downtown at the courthouse,
Yep.
to the Hardee's by the interstate.
Yep. And
Before I had a shop. Then when I got a shop, we kind of stayed all around there and stuff. But
yeah.
those were great times, man.
Right.
I miss it. You know, I miss cruising, miss going slow, you know, just seeing what everybody's got, listening to the trunks rattle.
Yep.
Man, that was a blast. You know, I was into big stereos too before, but really before the fast stuff, I was into the stereos, and God.
So where'd you get your start for a lot of things? You have done a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the things you've had your hand in this area.
Yeah.
In other areas, right? So
Yeah.
what kind of, you know, inspired you to start? And, you know, had you always had something for music? I love music, by the way, but
Yeah.
then you got into the car game, then you got into a band, then you're doing all these things. Like, where'd you get your...
You know, I've never really sat and thought about it. I do know that, excuse me, dry cough just will not go away. It's AIDS. When I was young, right, I was huge into hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, loved hip hop.
Yep.
And this is back when you could go buy a cassette single, and on the flip side of that cassette single, there was usually an instrumental,
Whoa.
right?
Okay.
So we would go, me and my buddy Nate, we would go out and we would, like, save, you could get them for like $1, you know? We'd go and save, and we'd get these and we'd flip them over just for the instrumental, and we'd freestyle to them. So we'd have a blast freestyling.
Still do.
You know what I mean?
Still do, yeah.
And so that's how, like, my music, I think the biggest thing for me is I've been an only child, and I've kind of had to I've had to entertain myself.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and I lived in Reiner on top of a hill, so I've always done things just to self-entertain. And that started, you know, when I was younger, I would make little custom speakers. I'd get speakers out of old boxes and put them in like a can to try to create bass in my room.
That is
And,
freaking awesome. Man.
You know, I would just try to do dumb stuff as a kid, and I was always just, I don't know, I just love learning.
Right.
And then it started to where I started enjoying music and appreciating music, and I skateboarded. So then I started getting into kind of like punk rock, and then the Judgment Night soundtrack came out. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Dude, we had like Ice-T, Cypress Hill,
Yeah.
with Helmet, and like some of the heavier bands at the time. And that just really kicked it off for me. And I was like, man, I really love this.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this. And right about that time, you know, I had always loved cars, and I don't know why. Like, nobody in my life ever was really a car guy.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, where'd he get this from? Because like around
Yeah.
here, like,
Yeah.
you know.
So I think that honestly, Derek, where I got it is I would go into like Kroger or somewhere to the magazines.
Yep.
And I just get like a magazine with cars in it, and it just sparked my interest.
Yeah.
And the bass, I think it started, honestly, that's where it started, I think it started with me creating those little enclosures for speakers, trying to get more bass out of like a Kmart, you know, little boom box.
Yes.
And then that turned into me wanting to create actual systems. And then I started getting the magazines, looking at them, and then those, of course, were in really badass cars. So then I think it just snowballed from there, man.
Snowball from there.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I've never thought about it, dude.
I mean, I've been thinking about this since we first had our first conversation.
Yeah.
I said, I have to ask him this.
Yeah.
Like, however the show gets steered, I have to ask him how he started this stuff, because
Yeah.
it's crazy for me to be sitting here talking to you now, because back then, man, it was like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Robbie's got this shop, he's got this, he's got all these things going on, and the only like connection we had was like Matt.
Yeah.
So we'd ask Matt all the questions, and he'd get mad. He'd be
Yeah.
like, "Man, I don't know." Like, go ask, you know.
That's
you know,
Matt.
Yeah, that's Matt. You know.
Yeah.
He would get mad. Like, dude, go talk to him. He'd
Yeah,
get frustrated.
yeah.
You know. And I remember
Yeah.
Matt. I think Matt lived up on Craig Mountain.
He does. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's where my in-laws are.
Okay,
at.
it was
Yep.
this cul-de-sac,
Yep.
and it's my buddies. A lot of my buddies. I rode that bus, and a lot of my buddies were on the same bus. And I remember Matt and them. They had this nice, like, ranch style house right on the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
you
It's a
know?
beautiful home.
And coming up, when we would go into those neighborhoods, like, we dreamed of being in one of those neighborhoods one day.
Yeah.
I mean, Christiansburg is not a bad area,
Yeah.
but we didn't live in, like, you know, we're middle class family. We didn't live in Diamond Point
Sure.
and these up and developing, you know, higher end homes and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
So to ride the bus and see some of these places,
Yeah.
we'd always joke with Matt. We're like, Matt, what do y'all do, man? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Matt would come out of the garage and lift up,
Yeah.
and Matt would come walking down the bus. I'm like, Matt, what do your folks do, man? You know,
Walking
So,
out like Will Smith.
yeah, Matt was just, you know,
Ba-dum.
you know, and then he had this. I can't remember all of his cars, but I mean that truck.
Yeah.
And we were just at that time, we were still dreaming. And I feel like that's what's helped us carry through
Yeah.
is we haven't stopped that.
Don't stop.
I would tell anybody, like you said, hey, 45 and I'm still doing this and that. Don't stop that, because other people already have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you never know how close to that gold piece we are,
Yeah, man.
you know?
Yep.
And it may take us 5 businesses before one's successful.
Yep.
It may take us rebranding, doing stuff, podcasts, this and that, before we actually get there, but we're still doing it.
Yep.
So
You got to keep that drive, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to say this whenever we were talking about it with you coming back in the adaptation to civilian life, because it is a far cry from what you adapted to. But my transition from Nashville back to here after being in that grind,
right,
I'm still struggling to find an identity.
right,
Like, I'm still on it, man. I'm like, damn,
right,
you know, I'm not surrounded by the same creatives. I'm not, the pace isn't the same.
Right.
You know, I had to make that decision, like, for my kids and my family to come back, you know, and still it's like I'm still searching for that creative outlet, that force, whatever, you know, that can drive me, that can fulfill me.
Yep.
And I feel selfish, bro. You know, it's hard not to feel selfish. Like, why is it taking you so damn long to be happy, bro?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Why can't you just find happy in the simple? And that's what I'm trying to slow my brain down.
Right.
You know?
I'm glad you said that, because anybody that probably looks at your life, things you've accomplished, they're probably going down their list like, man, I wish I would have done, you know, this, that, and
Yeah.
third. And now that's why I'm trying to do everything that scares me.
Yeah.
anything that kind of pushes me out there, right? Because you said finding happiness, right? I know I'm happiest when I'm crying, laughing, and somebody around me has to run out the room because they're laughing so hard.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that's what has gotten me through. Even on the worst days, we're sitting there getting shot at and stuff. I say, hey, fellas, it could be worse. We could be home with a beautiful girl drinking beer. And they're like, shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? You know, could be worse, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like my happy is kind of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
I've watched other people, and I got inspired by a guy named Queen's Flip.
Okay.
And you can look him up on YouTube. Shout out to Queen's Flip. Want to do a show with him one day.
Yeah.
Back in 2018, I was going back to college. When I should have been writing papers, I was up watching his show. His show on YouTube is called Flip the Script Podcast.
Okay.
Or The Callers with Queen's Flip.
I got to remember that.
Yep. Check it out. It's hilarious.
Okay.
I called in live to the show. They're in New York.
Yeah.
From Queens. They're from Queens.
Yeah.
And rest in peace to one of the cast members. He's no longer with us, but I remember arguing back and forth with them, and there was a little bit of a lag because, you know, when me watching my voice on screen and stuff, that captured me. I saw how much fun those guys were having. These were his friends. He created a platform.
Yep.
He had the material. He had good conversation. He had great personalities.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys on the show named Shampoo came from Howard Stern.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Shampoo.
Shampoo. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Now on Howard Stern, he had a different name, but he's naturally.
Okay. Well, then what? Okay. Who was it? Why does that sound familiar? Maybe I've seen
You've
this
probably
somewhere.
seen him somewhere. Yeah. So he was on the show, and what Flip would do, Flip would like order food on the show, but like just enough for him. Or everybody could get like one wing, and they would get mad because like that's all he could. So come on, and I'm watching this, and I'm crying laughing.
Yeah.
And it inspired me, and I always tell people this story. I said, I know people around me that could help me build this, and we could get out some of our visions, our dreams. My hardest thing is I've written entire movies in my head.
Yeah.
I haven't shared it with anybody.
That's awesome.
I've had all these things come through my head, and this is the first time in my life with your show, with my show, with everything that I'm doing, that I'm able to show people what we think about.
That's awesome, dude.
You know? So you took what you think about with the help of these guys and everybody, and look what y'all have created.
Yeah, man.
This is nuts.
You know, I think having the ability to bond with like-minded individuals and to, especially for an artist, if you're not an artist mind, it is so hard to explain an artist mind. My wife's not an artist. She is everything but, you know, she's the stable one. She's the, you know, the yin and yang, you know, that type of situation.
Right.
But she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. She supports it to a certain extent, as long as I don't go overboard and get obsessed with it.
Right.
But it's hard to explain that to her. She's like, why do you need to do all that to feel that certain way? Is it not enough? Kids, family, you know?
Right.
Why do you need to detach and do that? And I'm like, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel like I'm wrong because you do make me happy in a different way.
Different way. Yep.
In a different, you know, it's a, I can't even explain it to you, an artist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like, I feel like
I don't know why I need it, but I do.
You have a talent. First of all, you're a musician. It's hard enough to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
It takes a different part of your brain to be able to sing and play an instrument at the same time.
Yeah, I can't.
So you're like, you know, people and just to understand music and understand everything, it takes a different part of your brain. So you're already in a different spectrum.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure you're like me. You'll be driving down the road. I will bust out laughing with nobody in my vehicle.
Yeah.
Because of something I thought about that's never happened.
Oh, dude, I'll make up situations.
You know,
in my
situations
brain
all the time. And I have to pull over, get out my phone, my notes app, and write that in because I'm going to turn that into something.
Yeah.
So I feel like everything that people used to like, oh, Derek, man, you went into the military, you came back, you ain't changed. Should I have?
Yeah.
What if I did, though?
Yeah.
What if I was completely different and you didn't want to hang around me?
Yeah.
What if I'm glad that it didn't change me.
Sure.
I'm glad that I can still dream and want to create something and kind of, not to plug my own show, but that's where we came up with the name Steak and Sauce. It had
I was
two
going to
meanings.
ask. Yeah.
When I was a kid, my parents would ask me, Derek, they used to call me Big Daddy,
Yeah.
what do you want to eat? Most kids would say popsicle,
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yep.
I'd say, can I have a little steak? And my dad would say, hell no, you can't have no steak. Like, we can't afford, like, you can't have that, you know?
Nobody wants steak.
No way, yeah. So that was one meaning.
Yeah.
The other meaning was I wanted a name that gave people substance and a little bit of the zesty.
Okay.
So I feel like when you watch our show, you're going to walk away with something that you maybe not have known or a different perspective, and you're going to laugh when you do it.
Awesome.
So
I like that.
Steak and Sauce,
Yeah.
that's where it comes from. That's the meaning.
Gotcha.
When we plugged it in, there's tons of things about Steak and Sauce on YouTube, but no podcast with that name.
Okay.
So it gave us a clean slate.
Nice.
And it's something that's meaningful to me.
Yeah.
So this is a brand, just like the Commotion podcast, that you guys came up with, that we branded together, and we're like, hey, we believe in this.
Yeah.
Because I've had lots of people that have reached out to me and said, hey, Derek, when you talked about men being insecure, they said, we appreciate you being able to put a light spin on it
Yeah.
and actually talk about yourself and the things that you struggle with, because we've never been able to do that before. And I feel like that's one of the hardest things to do, is to look in the mirror every day and just accept who you are.
Yeah.
For me.
And because what we do
Yep.
is a platform that it almost puts you, and this is good and bad, it almost puts you in an authoritarian type situation in people's minds.
Right.
Like, oh, they're doing that. It must, they must know something I don't know. It's good because people will listen, and it's bad because people will listen.
Well, listen. Yes.
So if you're a complete dumbass,
Right.
they'll listen.
Right. They'll listen.
And if they're on the bottle and feeling down and whatever, they're going to listen too.
They're going to listen.
So you got to be careful.
Yep.
We are granted, and we have gifted ourselves a platform of somewhat. It's a powerful thing that we have.
It is.
And we have to use it right. But at the same time, I'm not going to change it. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be myself. And I think you do the same thing.
Yeah. And I respect what you guys have built and what you guys are building, because it's hard to find that lane.
Yeah.
And I always tell people ask me all the time, Derek, how'd you start this? How'd you do this? I always tell them, don't make the mistake I made and getting caught up on things that haven't even happened yet.
Yeah.
What's my grandparents going to say?
Yeah.
Are people going to like this? One of the biggest challenges, and I can say this on the show, I said it on mine, I had a big fear of getting in front of a camera and telling people all these badass things I used to do, and I'm fat, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, wait, you did what? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And I always tell people, listen, I can't run as fast as I used to, but my trigger fingers are excellent, right? They're great. But that was honestly one of my biggest fears. I'm like, what are people going to say?
Yeah.
What are they going to think?
Yeah.
But I had to love myself where I'm at and say, hey, all these other comedians and people starting platforms, did they wait till they lost 80 pounds to start?
Yeah, man.
Right? So that was a real conversation I had with myself as a man.
Yeah.
That almost prevented me from ever getting on camera.
Really?
I kid you not, my podcast almost never got off the ground.
Really?
I had to struggle.
Yeah.
And my buddies came to me, they said, Derek, people want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
Let's run.
Yeah.
Thanks to them. And every time we shoot, you can ask Weston. I'll say, like, you know how we brought ourselves up on here?
Yeah.
I'll say, Weston, bring us up. And he say, I look. I'm like fixing myself. And they're like, Derek, come on, man. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. That's healthy.
Yeah.
You got to have a little self,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make sure my
Make sure I'm
stuff's
straight.
right.
And I tell people that all the time, because I know somebody else out there is struggling. One of their biggest fears is, how do I sound?
Mm-hmm.
How do I look?
Yep.
Where's my material coming from? And I tell people all the time, you already have it. Think about the conversation you had with your dad.
Yeah.
Is that not hilarious? Can you people have stuff all around them. So I tell people all the time, don't make the mistake I did and get caught up in superficial things that don't matter.
Yep.
Don't worry about having the best equipment. Just create the content.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yep. And that's one thing I can say, we're growing, we're trying, all of our stuff. I have to give the biggest shout out to Logan and James, man. They're over there making it happen.
Shout out to these guys. They're excellent.
Yeah, dude. They're, James helps us, with the audio, getting everything going and just general stuff. And Logan's over there doing this, camera.
And I feel like that's what Weston does. You know what I'm saying? Weston's like reaction.
Yeah.
Shout out to Weston, by the way. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all growing together.
Right.
You know, we're all learning this stuff. And, you know, the audio, we've had ghosts in the machine where we've had static, and it's just about, listen, man, it'll sit here and aggravate me, but you just got to roll with it.
Got to roll with it. Yeah.
Nothing's ever going to be perfect.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
you just run with it and you have a good time, and, you know, surround yourself with people that give a shit about it as much as you do.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And it's hard because that's what I've struggled with a lot, is finding people with that passion that want to love it as much as I do.
Right.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like your team, the guys that support me, they tell me all the time, well, you make the decision. I said, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I said, the reason why this thing works
Yep.
is because my personality is a certain way, yours is, and his is.
Yep,
And when you
exactly.
put all that together, you get Captain Planet, and somehow we fucking, you know, somehow we make this thing work.
Yeah.
But like you guys coming together here,
Yep.
I mean, had I not, you know, talked to Robbie that night, had you not reached out, I didn't know you guys had all this. This
Yeah.
is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would not have been in this seat.
Yeah.
You know, if I had chosen not to probably start my show,
Yeah.
you would have had nothing to look at,
Yeah.
to reference.
Yeah.
So like all these things.
You know, and you have to take that step.
Yes.
If I can tell anybody out there, if you're on the edge of even just wanting to paint a picture, you know,
Right.
say what's on your mind to somebody you love. Tomorrow is just not guaranteed.
It's not.
Do what you love.
Yep.
Love what you do. And that's really it.
Yep.
The formula is simple.
Yep.
You know, we spend so much time destroying ourselves,
Every day.
our damn core, destroying it because it's not right. It's not perfect. I'm not succeeding in this way. Stop, man.
Yeah.
Get up, find something you love, and freaking go for it.
Go for
it. You have to.
Yeah. I'm
You
glad
know?
you said that inspires me, because even though we're right here, it's
Yeah.
still speaking to me, because every time that we film, we're running that episode that same week, that following week.
Yeah.
And we're already meeting again about the show we're going to film in
The
a few
fall.
days.
Yep.
So it's like we're constantly in that. But Weston told me, he said, Derek, if we're going to do this, we got to be consistent.
Yep.
You know, and I know there's a few things, hiccups and things that come along, but sometimes I get caught up on, well, we got to have this person, we got to have that person. Some of our most organic conversations
Mm-hmm.
and the funniest times have came from the people that are just right there on the show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I'm learning about guys that I've known my whole life, and I'm
Yeah.
learning new stuff.
It's just different. When
Yeah.
you're sitting here and you're, you know, that's the reason I approach it the way I do.
Yeah.
I used to get all involved in trying to learn about them and be like a fan, you know, really dig in and try to do that. But then I have I start to paint my own picture of who you are.
Right.
So instead of doing that, I'd rather go, okay, well, I know he has a podcast. He's a comedian. Let's check out a couple things. I want to see who you are.
Right.
You know, it's just a different approach. And I feel like it's so much more organic. I'm freer because I'm not looking over at my iPad going, okay, well, so next week you've got, you know,
Right.
I don't feel organic when I do that shit.
Right. Yes.
I feel like if I'm sitting here and we're talking, we can talk about freaking Waffle House and the way and how sticky shit is. You know what I mean?
It's hilarious. Yeah.
That's better for me, man.
Better,
So
yes.
do you have a format on Steak and Sauce that you guys follow? Since I just trashed having a format? Do you guys
So, and I'll say this, a shout out to you.
Yeah.
When you sent me that email,
Yep.
I love that.
Oh, okay.
We
Kind of a
had not
welcome.
incorporated that. I'd like to take some of that if you
Do
don't
it.
mind. Okay. I
Take it
want to
all,
ask
buddy.
you right here.
Of course.
We usually meet with our guest a few days before, maybe a week before.
Okay.
I will say, hey, I would like to talk about these points, and we'd spend 15 to 20 minutes a topic. But obviously, if you watch the show,
Yeah.
you can go far left, you know?
Yep.
And we got to bring it back. But I love that, because the other organic conversations are going to come up. Like when you asked me, hey, Derek, what's one of the things you struggled with when you got out of the military?
Yep.
Well, there was one thing, but it kind of sprouted.
Yeah, man.
So we'll follow that, and I'll say, hey, what are the things, key points that you would like to discuss? And they're like, oh, yeah, I'd like to talk about this. Can we add that in? Da-da-da.
Yeah.
We form a little bit of a plan. That way, when they come on, they kind of have a general idea of some of the topics that we're going to discuss.
Sure.
They may do research in the time before the show or whatever.
Yeah.
Once they come on, we do the intro. We run that. My buddy, shout out to Derek Kimbrough.
Yeah.
A good buddy of mine. He made the beat for our show.
Cool.
I loved it, and we've been rocking with it ever since.
Nice.
And once we do the intro, we do the introduction, introduce everybody that's there. I usually run into, find some funny clips of the week.
Yep.
We run those to get their reaction because I've already seen them.
Yeah.
We started doing a word of the day. So when I was growing up, my mom would give me a vocabulary word.
Oh, okay.
And she'd say, hey, bud, that was my name.
Yep.
Hey, bud, word of the day is whatever it was. So I'm learning. Now we do that on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's hilarious because some of the meanings for these, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
what is that?
yeah, what is that? Like, have you heard of that
Yeah.
before? And then we start getting into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Sure.
And I like that because that's where the stories come from. That's where the random little conversations come from. And then we tie it all back together at the end.
Yeah.
And it's allowed us to be very transparent and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes somebody might say something that we weren't ready for.
Yeah.
Or they may put me on the spot and ask me, hey, how did you feel when you and your mom had that big disagreement?
Yeah.
And I know she's going to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, be honest with you.
Real is real, man.
You know, and that's one of the things we try our best. And I tell the guys, hey, if we're going to talk about being insecure as men, I need y'all to dig.
Yeah.
I need y'all to dig. No surface level stuff.
Yep.
I really need to know, you know? And I think some of those guys are starting to develop their own segues and stuff on the show. And I love that. I love when they have their own, you know, they're coming up with their own questions.
Yeah.
Hey, can we add this in, Derek? Sure. It's our show.
That's awesome, man.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Let's do it.
And that's why I encourage these guys. You know,
Yeah.
we, like last week or week before last, because last week they had to go, you know, up to space. But we had a couple technical issues.
Gotcha.
You know, and they were jumping on it. I sent them a couple things, and they, you know, they were like, "Hey, it could have been this." You know, just shooting stuff back and forth and troubleshooting and thinking of ideas. And I know Logan had sent me a couple of ideas that I thought were really, really cool. So I think, you know, finding that team is of the essence.
It is.
And being there and being in the moment, and it's just crucial.
Crucial, yes.
You know?
Yep. And everybody's bringing a different aspect. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Shout out to Antonio. He brings his own aspect.
Yeah.
When you put our personalities together, right? Because I've known him since I was 7 years old.
See, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Preston came on one episode.
Yeah.
I think it was 15 or 16.
Okay.
People loved him.
Yeah.
Because he was on there saying, hey, boy. And they're like, dang, y'all let him call you boy? And I was like, only on this show, you know? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
our running joke, you know?
Okay.
And I'm like, you know, we try to make it seem like, yeah, he owns a bunch of land and there's a big house with pillars and we don't know what that was. So we run this whole...
That's funny because he's white.
Right. So we do that. And if you're watching it, you're like, oh, man.
I
right?
see what he did there.
So we're out and about and people are like, hey, that's boy. And like, so I said, Preston, I'd love for you to be, you know, a member on this group that is here all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
not just like reoccurring, but you're a part of it.
Yeah.
And he didn't believe me at first. He's like, really? I was like, dude, people love you.
That's awesome, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we got Weston. We call him the man with the plan, behind the scenes. Wes, you can follow him on Carmack.media. He is the guy that I can literally write down a bunch of stuff and he'll be like, oh, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So he allows me to dream and then he makes it, you know.
And that's the thing. If you can like dump, like if I'm not sitting here worried about audio, and like if I said, hey, James, mute that microphone,
Right.
you know, and if he's not aware enough to mute that microphone,
Yeah.
you know, that's vital.
Right.
You know, having somebody that can do that.
Right. Yeah.
You
for
know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
having those folks that know what you're asking,
Yep.
and then you don't have to think about it.
I can just
I
do it.
can put the fact that we're videoing and we're recording completely off and just connect with you
Right.
and have this conversation.
Because you know it's being taken care of.
Yeah.
That's why I told
I
Tony.
hope to hell it's being
Jeez,
taken.
I hope that.
James over there shaking his head.
Right.
Logan's got it locked down, so we're good.
Oh yeah, we're good.
We're good.
I got it locked down. We're
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
I told Tonio in the intro of the show, hey, I would love for you to create our intro.
Yeah.
You introduce everybody. And he did it a couple times, and now
That's
he's
awesome.
like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I said, dude, take that. I don't want it.
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah.
It's your show. No, it's our show.
Yes. And that's the way I feel. I feel like when
Right.
when folks come on board, I want this to be ours.
It's
I want
ours.
to grow.
Yes.
You know?
I said, because we all bring a very special dynamic to the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Preston's there for when I say crazy stuff because he knows I'm going to do it. And he's like, no way.
Yeah.
That's absurd. That's his favorite thing. That's absurd, you know?
Yeah.
And the dynamic just molded, and I'm so excited to see the faces on these guys when we do something because they're
Yeah.
like, hey, we're actually like doing this.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, you can't even go to I said, you're a small time hero. Like, you go to Walmart now, people are like, hey, boy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah. But I got to remind them, like, we don't let him say that outside, outside, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Have you seen the thing? I think it's a YouTube video where this guy will walk up to just anybody. It doesn't matter what they are. And he'll be like, hey, boy, hand me that.
Hey, boy, I've seen that. And some of the guys are like, what'd you say?
Yeah.
He said, I said, hey, boy,
Yeah.
hand me that. And some guys won't get it, and they'll say, can't you get it yourself? Mm-hmm. And he'll say, nah, boy, hand me that. And they're like, man, go on, man.
Yeah.
Some people are like, what'd you say? And he's like,
You better back the hell
yeah,
up.
and he's like, I said, hey, boy, hand me that. And I think it is hilarious.
It is, man.
Yeah. So now we got Preston. I'll say, hey, Preston, give us one just to start the show. He'll say, boy, you know what I'm saying? So like, it kind of starts to show out, So,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So for anybody, plug the show real quick.
Okay.
Tell them where they can find it, all that stuff.
All right. So Steak and Sauce Podcast, you can find us on YouTube. If you go in, all the links are in my link trees and my social medias in the bios.
Nice.
On my Instagram, I am Derek Nowlin on Instagram. There's a link in my bio where you can find us. Derek Nowlin on Facebook, there's a link in my bio. It'll take you directly to all of my social medias. We're also on Spotify. What's the other one?
iTunes? You on iTunes?
Yeah, the Apple Podcast.
iHeart.
All that. And I got some cards here I want to give you guys
Yeah,
after
please.
the show. Yep. And it's got all that on the back. Normally, sorry, Weston's going to kill me because I didn't remember where we're published at.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're trying to make sure we're on all the platforms that we can be on because a lot of people reach out to us and they say, hey, Derek, I haven't watched, but I listen to y'all when I ride to work because I got an hour ride.
That's nice.
So they get that aspect as well.
Yep.
So once we do an episode, we launch it on all the platforms. So, Steak and Sauce Podcast. Type in the full thing. Please give us a sub. Please sub to these guys. These guys are amazing.
Thanks,
the Commotion Podcast. This is real.
Yeah,
and
man.
this setup right here, you guys have given me a lot of inspiration on how I want to do our new studio that's coming up.
Yeah, man.
So, man, you guys really have something here. This is awesome.
I appreciate you, bud. You know, like I said, I'm an open book. I want to do more with you.
Yes.
I really want to get together and try to do something that's fun because in my head, and this is probably the first time I've said it out loud other than a couple of these guys,
Right.
my goal is to have Commotion TV. And the goal with that is to be a talk show.
That'd be amazing.
But we have musical guests.
Yes.
We have segments. We have, multiple people that come in. And, we got sponsors. We get the full deal. So
That would be amazing.
So that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And this is step one.
right.
Making sure the video works.
Yeah, making sure the video works. I can see us now. Like, hey, we're going to take a question from the,
Yeah.
hey, so my girl is in it. I'll be like, look, dude, I'm just going to let you know, right? Yeah. But no, that is amazing. And any way that we'd like to work together, anything like that,
Yeah,
I would
man.
love to do it, man.
Yeah.
I'm open to it, yeah.
I appreciate getting to know you. I feel like I'm going to get to know you a lot more when I see some stand up.
Yes.
More about your genitalias.
Yes, my genitalias, yeah, for sure. I always tell people, it's average, but it works.
Heck yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
it's thin, but it's short.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
y'all. Well, thank you so much, Derek Nowlin. Man, I can't say enough about you. Make sure you go out to Lost in Taste, right? Lost in Taste.
Yep.
This Saturday, which is the 25th,
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Go get your tickets. Make sure you check him out. I'm Rob. Derek, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you to the team. You guys are awesome.
All right, buddy. Until next time, we'll see you.